There's always room in the heart for one more friend. The great thing about a new friend is that they bring new energy to your soul. The best kind of people that you're encountering are the ones that come into your life for a purpose. It's the friends that we meet along the way that help us appreciate the journey. This episode is called Making New Friends.
Don't you see that your faith is coming alive? Don't you see that it's tested every time? He's the one that makes your life divine. He's the one that makes you feel fine. Your faith's being tested.
Hello everyone, this is Angel, and welcome to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. And we are counting down, getting near 100 episodes. So I want to thank each and every one of you for continuing to be a part of this show. I want to start off by thanking GABBIE Santana for the use of our theme song, Tested. If you haven't had a chance to visit her YouTube channel, I always say website, her YouTube channel, it's GABBIE Santana. Go out there, take a look. Let's continue to subscribe to her channel and continue to make her a star that we know she is. We'd like to also remind each and every one of you that we're always available on the following platforms. I don't say it enough, but that's because I try to get right into the episode. So let me take the time real quick to just invite each and every one of you to share this on our like page at Have Faith Let It Begin, our like page on Facebook. If you get a chance, share this. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, we ask you to subscribe to Spreaker, iTunes, or Podcast Player. We are available on iHeartRadio, Tumblr, Player FM, SoundCloud, and of course the Spotify family. We are in the process right now of looking into being available through the Alexa, the Alexa Dot, or the Alexa Fire Stick. They call it the programming or what have you. But you know, I wish I could have said it better. But there's going to be availability where you can actually ask Alexa to play our show. So now we're working on that, and we look forward to being available to you on that platform. As you all know, we're available every single weekday, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. And we look forward to doing an occasional live broadcast, which now broadcasts also live on our Facebook Have Faith Let It Begin like page. Okay, so with that being said, you heard the title, Making New Friends. The hardest thing in life, I think, is finding a trustworthy friend. In our daily life, we will run into certain people and we will engage in conversation and eventually make friendships. Unfortunately, there's two different kinds of friends. There's social friends, and then there's ones that you can pour your heart and soul to, and they're called best friends or close friends. Along the way, you meet different types of people. Nowadays, with social media being a huge factor, you're meeting friends online. Recently, for the past, I shouldn't say recently, because for the past couple of years, when I'm able to go on an Xbox, I would actually go out there and play certain games, and I've met some really, really interesting people along the way, and grateful to call them my friends. So this is a quick little shout out to, I'll use their handle names. We got Panda, we've got Mansa, and there's a lot of other people out there, but typically those are the two that I generally end up playing online with them, and they're great people, and they also tend to listen to this show as well. Thank you for being a part of my life and making gaming fun again. Folks, when you make a new friend, it's tough, especially if you've been hurt in the past. It's tough to let people in. It's tough to allow people to get into your life if you've been hurt in the past. Some of us have this amazing radar where you can actually talk to somebody and kind of get an idea that there may not be that individual that you really shouldn't be associating with. I can recall having my mom, being the huge radar. My sister used to hate it because My mom would wait for people to come over, and then as soon as they left, you'd wait for that approval. And sometimes my mom would be like, I'm not really sure that's a good person to be around. Just be careful. And you knew somewhere down the line that person will go south, and all of a sudden they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and that your mom or your dad, for that matter, knew that was not the right person to hang out with. As you get older, we tend to not have that radar in our lives, so we have to develop our own. We have to figure out, who the right people to be a part of. I struggled with that for over 20 years. I was grateful to have a friend like Brian come into my life at a young age, and I'm still friends with him now. I'm grateful that over the course of my travels and my businesses, I was able to pick up 2 more best friends. You all know them as Freddie and Chip. And these are individuals that have come in my life and have been a huge instrumental part. 2 of them, are very, very passionate about what they do with their families. And on top of that, they walk the faith. So it makes my life a little easier when I want to talk faith with them. Now, I can't sit here and tell you how to make a new friend. I'm not going to, talk to each and every one of you and say, look, you should find a friend this way, you should find a friend that way. I can only speak to you from my point of view. In my past, I have encountered people that have been a part of my life where they didn't approve of my lifestyle, church being one of them. Some of them actually may not have understood it, respected it, but, ultimately try to, blindside me and keep me away from that path. But, at the end of the day, it's really about what your standards are, what you are looking for, the type of friend that you want in your life. So the only type of advice I can give you is, start off, slow. Don't let anybody in too quickly. But if you feel that there's something about that person that just is not swaying you in the right frame of mind, if they don't, if they're putting up certain red flags that you don't agree with, I wouldn't just close the door on them, but I would certainly, ask them certain things and get a feel for what it is that they may or may not have said that they put up that red flag. It's just as hard as for the other person too, because sometimes they have trouble making friends. So by the time you guys interact, there could be some nerves there, and it sounds really corny when I say that, but making friends is not as easy as it used to be. A lot of people are in it for reasons that I can't even begin to imagine, but others are in it for hidden agendas. I mean, I've seen friends come into the picture because ultimately they liked what the other friend's wife looked like, and that's horrible. They're going in there with the mentality that they'll make friends, but trying to steal the other person's wife or girlfriend. Then, of course, there's other friends that react to the way you are, react to your actions. And that's really what I want to stick on with the topic. Your actions and your attitude, your personality is what feeds, that attraction to people wanting to be around you. Having a positive attitude in life is a huge incentive. Now, mind you, we all go through our daily storms. We go through our battles and our obstacles. And there are days where you can't be positive all the time. But generally speaking, if you have a good outlook in life, if you feel good about your life, if you feel good about the things that you do in life, and you're able to express that through your actions, it will provide you with a good amount of people that want to be a part of your life, that flock to you and want to be in your presence. One of the things that I used to always think about is how often in the work environment I would find people that didn't want to be around me because I was always in a positive attitude. I remember individual in particular calling me an anomaly, saying that there's no way a person like this can always be in a good mood. There's a hidden agenda here. I can honestly tell you that in every single position I've ever held, and I mean every single job I've ever held in my lifetime, there's always been one person that has quit or has eventually expressed that they couldn't work with me because of my positive attitude. Those are their words, not mine. The only thing I can tell you is, never try to be somebody you're not. Always be who you are. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. And eventually they'll either learn to accept that, and if they're not, maybe that's not the right person that you should be around. Now, let's be honest too. Sometimes people that are overly positive can tend to be very, very overwhelming, and it's hard. It's hard to be around people that way. I know that there's times when I've been told, hey, can you tone it down just a little bit? Or when I've gotten angry, I've had somebody look at me and go, oh my God, you are human. But remember, it goes back to what the episodes have said. Things you have to leave at the door. Things that you just don't want to share with everyone. I'm not saying go out there and be fake and be like, hey, what's going on? Oh my God. I'm saying be yourself. For me, I'm blessed that regardless of all the things that have happened to me, I never allowed people to get to me. In the very beginning, as I was battling through my depression and my breakup, yes, it got the best of me. But ultimately, I was able to overcome that and really find myself and understand who I was. And that's really what it is. You have to find who you are. You have to define who you are. You have to define who you want to be and which people you want in your life. And if you can do that, it will stay true to any and everything you do in life, whether that's a good working environment, a relationship, good friendships, relationship with your parents, and really having the listening skills. And by the way, being patient, not allowing people to get under your skin. Don't assume that when people are in your presence and they are joking around amongst others, that they are picking on you. You'll know if somebody doesn't want to be around you. You'll know when somebody is literally picking on you. Individuals joke around amongst each others, because it's good, it's good banter, friendly banter. Some of us struggle with that daily. Some of us struggle with the fact that they think that, if they're not in that moment included for like a very second, that automatically they're being pushed aside. That's not the case. Learn to, accept who you are, be who you are, and of course stick up for yourself, but, be patient, be kind, be true to others, and be true to yourself. And it will give you an opportunity to make more friends. Don't sit at home and be a hermit. Don't sit at home and say, I wish I could have went out and made friends. I wish I could have done this. I'm not like you. I can't do that. Anyone can do it. We all can do it. God has given us a gift. And the gift that we have is the gift of kindness if we choose to accept it. If you choose to go out in the world and not be kind, and to hold back and just be malicious or rude, that's something that you choose to do. I don't believe we're born in this world with anger. I believe we're all given the opportunity to choose who we want to be. So remember that as you meet your friends and your best friends and your special friends. It's funny how, complete strangers can have a familiar soul, and they can influence you and they can guide you in a path where they want to be in your presence. You find out who your real friends are when you're involved in situations where things get really, really difficult and they step up. I once heard, actually, I'm trying to think how it goes. I don't want to mess this up. I think it's like a good friend is like a 4-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have. There we go. I can't believe I said that. And that's really what it's all about. So remember that as you go out there and make a new friend. And for all those out there that are listening to the show, okay, just remember, every new friend is a new adventure, the start of more memories. And we here at this show are your friend. So if you don't have a good friend, I'd like to welcome you as a part of the family here at Have Faith, Let It Begin. And I welcome you as our friend. And I hope that you can trust in us to share your stories and to share your thoughts. And if you have any prayers, we will do that for you. And that's really what it's all about, folks. That's the message I wanted to spread to you today. Each friend represents a world in us, and a world possibly not born until they arrive. And it's the only thing in this world that, you can look forward to sometimes. Only by this meeting that, of friendships you can create new memories, new lifetimes. So, as we close out today, remember that good friends are hard to find, harder to leave, and impossible to forget. And if you have struggles, if you have issues making new friends, I hope today can bring that out for you. And then I hope that when you go out today in your daily life, you're able to pick out one friend that has been in your path and you weren't sure if this was the type of person you want. So, truly great friends are definitely hard to find. And that's the most important thing. And be grateful when you have them. So for Have Faith, Let It Begin, my name is Angel. And just remember, when everything is going in a bad way, when life throws that curveball, reach out to a friend. Reach out to someone that you can trust. And they will help you and guide you in the path of righteousness. Have faith. Let it begin.